So the flagship mall, Westfield, is like the biggest mall in San Francisco. Like, if you go to any city here in the U.S. and even around the world, when you go to like their downtown, there's always that one really fat mall that everyone just goes to when they're on like a tourism trip there. Even the locals like those malls. You go to Chicago, go to Miami, go to downtown Manhattan, even Hudson Yards. There's always that really big, luxurious mall with all the cool things in it. And San Francisco had one, which is going to be Westfield Mall. And guess what? It's absolutely got destroyed. I mean, there's so much shoplifting. The vacancy rates were so high, they had to shut down. Westfield only opens high-end malls because in Los Angeles, they also have a Westfield Mall. And that one has like the Gucci stores and stuff like that. It got really famous and really popular on social media because it got robbed heavily. But if you look at the San Francisco Westfield Mall, it's humongous. It's massive. It's like this really good piece of architecture. It's fat. It's big. It's right next to several stores and businesses. You got this really nice looking, like downtown, old school type of architecture everywhere. This is the place we want to open up big malls. And exactly, Westfield, Nordstrom, they've operated here for decades. They made a lot of money, but for the first time in 3 decades, Nordstrom and several other flagship stores are finally closing down. The owners of Westfield Mall, they have fully defaulted on a loan. They gave it back to the lender. They defaulted on a $558 million loan. Guys, it's a little over $500 million that they defaulted. Westfield even said that the whole San Francisco situation isn't normal because other locations only had a vacancy of no more than 9%, with many of them only have vacancies of 1 to 5%. And that's usually due to like a transition of store owners. But San Francisco, it was like a 50-55% vacancy. A lot of stores don't want to live here either because of the amount of shoplifting. It's absolutely crazy to open a store here. So what's happening to Westfield Mall is now it's completely empty. It's completely vacant. They have fully left. They're no longer here anymore, guys. Westfield has fully left San Francisco. And this isn't the only mall that's going to be taking a fat beating. There's going to be other malls in San Francisco. Loans are being due, but they don't know how to pay it because tenants are leaving like crazy. Look at Westfield, okay? They're about to leave in several California locations, not just San Francisco. There's eventually going to be that straw that breaks the camel's back. And in San Francisco, there's just so much homelessness. There's insane crime, terrible street conditions, probably the worst among all of America's biggest cities. Even in Chicago, I've been to Chicago, it's pretty bad, but at least their downtown is highly pristine. It's very clean, it's very good. Well, not clean everywhere, but you get the idea. Chicago still gets a lot of tourism because their tourism areas, it's heavily regulated by like law enforcement and stuff. But San Francisco is basically a free-for-all for the whole entire city. And check this out. Nordstrom leaves, but you're going to be seeing a stadium being built. I have no clue why you would ever tear down such a high-class mall for a stadium. And plus, there's so many other stadiums in the San Francisco area anyway. So I'm not really sure why they need like a full-on stadium smack in the middle of downtown. Downtown San Francisco's soccer stadium plans are revealed. They're going to be tearing down the humongous Westfield Mall and placing a fat stadium. That's where they're doing a big stadium right here. Not entirely sure what the mayor is up to, but a lot of people don't exactly like this idea. This was heavily backed by the mayor of San Francisco right now. Some people really like it because it pretty much converts a unused space to something that it's used for gatherings. But another section of people are saying you probably don't want to tear down such a massive mall. There's only a few events every year anyway, so the stadium will probably mostly be empty. Another really big thing is, do soccer teams and games even want to go to San Francisco? San Francisco has already been so dangerous recently. Even Good Morning America said publicly, be careful when you walk the streets of San Francisco. It's not just them, but even tech events are leaving San Francisco. You do have Meta's tech event, also IBM's Red Hat. They're all leaving the San Francisco center. They're going somewhere else in 2024. We're also seeing some pretty big world leader events like APEC. They're going to be meeting in San Francisco like this fall. Okay, and San Francisco is like, okay, we got to at least have somewhat safe street conditions for all the people coming to San Francisco. Right now, San Francisco is not in recovery mode. In fact, it's deteriorating faster than ever before. The Civic Center looks absolutely scary. It's a complete apocalyptic nightmare. And I don't blame these companies for moving themselves out of San Francisco. When you have a massive tech conference, you're going to be having a lot of people with a lot of cars and with a lot of expensive equipment coming from out of state and around the world. They go to San Francisco to get their things robbed, cars broken in. It looks really bad on the conference guys. They'll probably blame the conference guys for picking such a lousy city. This is why a lot of these conferences are moving to Las Vegas, despite it being such a big gambling center. Denver, Miami, Tampa, Orlando, you get the idea. They're all going to other bigger cities where their downtowns are fairly well done. And like I said before, the stadium thing, it's not great, all right? Here's the thing about San Francisco. It's not about the stadium or the mall. They should honestly focus all their attention on cleaning the streets, okay? I guarantee you everyone's going to come back to the mall if they just clean the streets. If San Francisco next year announced that they have the cleanest streets in all of America's big cities, they have the lowest crime rate, lowest shoplifting rates, there's no homeless encampments on the streets, but they do have designated areas for the homeless. Every tech company is going to come crawling back crying to get an office space in San Francisco. Pre-pandemic, their vacancies were so low, it was scary. The vacancies were under 1%. Everyone was fighting for that high-end storefront. Everyone was fighting for that office space in San Francisco and that apartment. But now, the bidding wars have stopped. Prices have dropped. Whole entire buildings are 70% off, 75, 80% off. What is San Francisco doing? I don't think building a stadium is going to solve anything, okay? It's all about the fundamentals. San Francisco, according to a lot of people, is really weird because they always avoid the fundamentals and they always go for these side gigs for no reason. People don't really care about the soccer stadium. You're not going to bring any tech guys back with the soccer stadium. You're only going to bring people back if you're really tough on crime and pretty much stop the whole homeless situation. This is why, even though I'm not a big fan of San Diego has a massive W on my chart simply because they do have big measures to prevent homeless encampments. But at the same time, they designate certain areas for homeless encampments so it's nice, organized, and safe for everyone, and to offer a lot of city services. That is San Diego. Massive W. San Francisco, on the other hand, just lets everyone just be strung out on the streets. And tourism don't like it. I don't even think the homeless people like it. And last but not least, the business owners are leaving in droves. And look at this. It's so sad, all right? Nordstrom, it's closing down. I have no clue why IKEA's here. But like I said before, they're focusing too much on IKEA. It's one store coming in, but then there's like 100 different stores leaving. This is the end of San Francisco, okay? The malls are so important for a big city. Westfield is a very iconic building. You want that mall to be there. You want there to be stores, so there's actually a lot of foot traffic. You build a massive stadium, it's not going to solve anything. Tech employees, tech guys, finance bros, they're not coming back because there's a stadium. They're only going to come back if the street conditions are safe. Let's see what happened to San Francisco. I've been here pre-pandemic. I absolutely adore San Francisco. Though it had its problems, I would never visit it right now unless it changed things up. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.